I would say it didn't help me so much in my career. I think the only thing, wow, you know what? To be honest, the only thing I got from this that you guys are interviewing me now. That's something.
You're listening to the Israel360 podcast. We're connecting you with artists, innovators, and changemakers from Israel and around the world. I'm Ariella.
And I'm Matty. Welcome to the show.
Today on our podcast, we are so excited to welcome Bahar, who is a rising talent in the Israeli music scene and a drummer with a unique record-breaking talent. Hi, Eden. Welcome to our show.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're good. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
We like to start out all of our podcasts getting to know our guests a little bit better. So you have been a drummer in Israel for quite some time now, and we want to learn a little bit more about what got you into drumming in the first place.
I started playing since I was around 3 or 2 years old, thanks to my dad, who is a pianist and producer, pretty well known in Israel. His name is Yaron, and I grew up in my house, and he had a studio there, and he had piano and drums and all kinds of electronic mixers, and I just grew up into this environment. Got my first real drum set when I was 13 in my bar mitzvah, and since then I just didn't stop playing until the army. And then in the army I was in the IDF orchestra. I was very fortunate to be there for 2 years, and after 2 years in the army I started my career basically.
The elephant in the recording studio right now is this really interesting Guinness World Record you've set. So in 2019, you set a world record for the most, I don't even know what you call it, the most spins of a drumstick in one hand in 1 minute. It was 149 rotations. Tell us about this. How and why?
Wow. Okay. The why part is very easy because I wanted to, and I people do much crazier stuff in Guinness World Record. The other day I saw a Guinness World Record for like 2 Indians, and they were making a record for as many hugs as they can in 1 minute.
Yeah.
That's fun. It looks fun, but people do much crazy stuff than spinning a drumstick. But I wanted to do it, and I'm a person that when I set a goal for myself, I'm going all the way until I get what I wish for. And this journey with Guinness started about 2 years ago. I originally wanted to do a different record, but I found out it was too difficult to like produce it in Israel. So I moved in to try something a little easier. My first attempt was around 2 years ago, and then it took me a lot of time until I did my second attempt. And actually I was already living in Canada, Montreal by that time. So I did my second attempt in Montreal. The third attempt was already when I came back from Montreal, and it was like a few months ago, last summer in August. That was perfect. I sent them the recordings and all the paperworks, and a few months later I got a green light.
Drum tricks are very much a thing you see in concerts. So is this just naturally evolved from there, or did you set aside like dedicated practice time?
Well, it's a good question. Stick tricks are a common thing now. I don't do it when I play the drums on concerts, but I know how to spin the stick, for the fun, for the hang of it, because it's fun and it looks good. But for this attempt, the Guinness World Record, I had to practice. I would say I practiced around 2 weeks before the record. I practice every day, maybe an hour, just spinning the stick. And it actually it helped me a lot. The 2 rejected attempts that I did before, it really helped me because I discovered in my first attempt when I did it 2 years ago that the second I started spinning the stick and the counter went on, I had my butterflies in my tummy, and I was so nervous I couldn't do it. And then the second attempt was a little better, and then the third attempt was like, okay, I got it now, I got this, because I got used to the feeling. It wasn't that scary as the first attempt.
Well, it's an awesome video. We'll be sure to link it in the show notes for our listeners to watch. And I'm curious, what is it like to be a musician in Israel?
Well, Israel is a very special little place, as you may know. And the music industry is very, very wide and narrow. I mean, there's not a lot of people. That's why it's narrow. But it's very wide because the people are like from all around the world. So there's so many music styles going on. It's not like you would hear it in the Israeli radio. You would hear most of the time Middle Eastern singers, but there is so many music going on in the music scene in Israel and in Tel Aviv, and I think it's a very similar situation to other places. As I see it, I don't. It's not hard for me to get work. The thing is, you just have to be a good person, and you have to go out and be friendly and know people and get to know people, and then you get offers from here and from there, and it's like a snowball. It only gets bigger in time.
Now, Eden, have you found that your new Guinness World Record status has improved your esteem amongst your musician friends, or is it seen as sort of a gimmick type thing, or how are people reacting to it?
I would say it didn't help me so much in my career. I think the only thing, you know what? To be honest, the only thing I got from this, that you guys are interviewing me now.
That's world famous status.
That's amazing. That's something.
That's how we found you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I to tell you the truth, I didn't when Ariella wrote me, and I answered and I asked, "Wow, how did you guys hear about me?" And she said, "We read an article about you," and I didn't know someone wrote an article about me. I wrote my name like straight after I read your email. I wrote on Google Eden Bahar and Guinness World Record, and I found so many people wrote about me, even on Wikipedia and JPost, and it was crazy.
I'm curious, what is a day in the life of Eden Bahar? What does your day-to-day look like? I think for the most part, we're all blissfully unaware what the life of a musician looks like, and the only thing we have to base it on are movies like A Star Is Born. So tell us a little bit about what you do day to day.
So I wake up in the morning. I have my breakfast, and depends on the day. Sometimes I have concerts. Sometimes I have recordings. Sometimes I have rehearsals. And sometimes I just chill with my girlfriend, like everyone. And but let's say if I have a concert, I will prepare. I'll do my drums. I'll tune them. I'll practice. I'll run over the music again. If it's for a new gig, I'll probably learn the music, and I'm writing charts all the time for new music. That's how I learn the music. I write charts, and that way I memorize the music, so I don't have to read the charts while I perform. And for sessions, like recording sessions, I would also write charts and prepare and just put my drums in the car for the next day. I'm very perfectionist. If I go to a concert, not only a concert, if I go anywhere, I'm always half an hour early because I hate being late. I'm either on time, like a good drummer, or I'm half an hour early. And a day another and like a day in my life.
You also teach lessons too, right?
Yeah, I do teach. I have some private students, and I love teaching. It's so amazing. I learn about myself so much, and when I get to see the smiles on my students' faces, it's amazing to see how they progress from week to week.
Now, Eden, how much do you practice per an average day? Like, say you're preparing for a concert. Are we talking an hour? Are we talking like a full day's work? How much practice do you feel you need per?
I want to say I practice 5 hours, but I don't. Most of the time, what I do, because I'm in a level that I can practice even without playing, I could just doing it in my head. And if I do it in my head, it just go into my hands and feet, if you know what I mean. I just feel the drums. But for example, if I'm playing, you know what? I have a good example. I had a month ago, I had an online audition for Cirque du Soleil. You know that?
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, so I had an online audition for one of their shows, and they have the music charts written down like 100%. You got to play everything they wrote. So I had to practice for a full week, every day, the whole day, and that was very difficult. But yeah, that's like a special occasion, you know, because I had to do it so good. There's no room for error with them. Yeah, that was a nice experience. It was my second audition with them, but they didn't choose me at the end. They chose somebody else, but I will play for them in the future.
What advice do you have for young musicians who are hoping to make a career?
Well, I will tell you 3 words that Steve Gadd told me. He's a very famous drummer. He played with many musicians. I met him 2 years ago in a drummer's seminar in Croatia, and I was there for 10 days, and they brought a lot of drummers for master classes and shows and private lessons with the students. And one day, one of the students asked him exactly the same question you asked me, and he said, "Follow your heart." That's it. 3 words that struck me so powerful that I had to tattoo it on my hand. And since then, I have it on my left hand, and that's my motto in life: follow your heart. Well, it's not easy a lot of the times, but it's the right way, I think. And I think that's what I would say for a young musician. Just follow your heart, and you'll get to your place eventually, to your right place.
That's really sweet. Eden, I have a fun question that I want to end with. What would be your dream collaboration? A musician to collaborate with, or someone to play with?
Well, I think I love playing funk, so I would have to say James Brown.
And is there anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't have the chance to talk about today?
No, I think it's been a real pleasure, and thank you guys so much for having me. I think, yeah.
Of course. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, really.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Israel360. Be sure to stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at israel360.org, or check out our website, israel360.org. Please be sure to rate us, review us, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. Until next week, I'm Ariella.
And I'm Matty.
Bye.